Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the gymnasium at Fort Lee High School. A lot of high school action going on lately on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube page. And here we continue with a volleyball match. We're actually going to have multiple volleyball matches this Saturday morning at Fort Lee High School. First, it's going to be the Bridgman of Fort Lee, and they will host Emerson, Borough, the Cavaliers coming to Fort Lee, and then we're also going to have them take on Mawa, and then in the third match of the day, the Fort Lee Bridgman will be in action again, and then they will take on Mawa. So we're starting things off with the first of three. I'll have your call for two of them. My name is Tommy Aquilina. Thank you so much for joining us. Early morning, 9:29 a.m. I hope you have a cup of coffee or something else to keep yourself awake. John Ziemba's Fort Lee Bridgman about to take on the Emerson Borough Cavaliers, and they will start things off serving. So the serve by number 1, Bella Plout. Block attempt unsuccessful by number 7, Anela Watanabe, and Emerson takes an early 1-0 lead here in the first set. So now Emerson to serve. Too much on that one for Emerson Borough, and so Fort Lee quickly ties the first set at 1. Kelly Wengurter's team coming in 4-3 on the season. The Fort Lee Bridgmen enter this one also 4-3, but 3-0 in their division, the Big North American. They go down 2-1 here. Emerson Borough coming off a win yesterday against Patterson Charter. They won in 2 sets as Kelly Wengurter makes a substitution. Number 2, Julia Soretis, comes on, but the point goes to Fort Lee. And now John Ziemba will make a substitution as number 8, Sydney Kim, will step off. She'll be replaced by number 2, Olivia Kim. And it's going to be Watanabe serving. This one is returned, and an illegal move there, I believe, by number 29, Sophia Centeno. And so Fort Lee has the lead for the first time here in this first set. And Watanabe will serve again. Trying to keep that one alive was number 43, Demi Graham. She was unable to, and so Fort Lee has Emerson Borough doubled up here in the early going. The freshman, Watanabe, with another serve. And another point for Fort Lee. Centeno having a hard time getting her touch, and so Watanabe will serve again. This one goes over the net. I believe that was off of the hands of Olivia Kim. And so it says 6-2 on the scoreboard. It's actually 5-3 in favor of Fort Lee. And now number 10, Emma O, will serve for Emerson. An infraction by the Bridgman. And so another point for Emerson, make it 5-4, and Emma O will serve again. Low serve. Fort Lee is able to keep this one alive. Lorelai Gomez. Back to Fort Lee. Lorelai Gomez will try again, and she's got it. Bella Plout and Gomez will come off. Luna Shigahara will serve now. One of several seniors on this Fort Lee team. And that's going to be an ace for Shigahara. No return by Emerson. 7-4 Fort Lee. Also coming on with Shigahara was number 5, Sarah Wong. That one was kept alive by Samantha Song. Now Emerson setting themselves up. Too strong. 8-4 Fort Lee. They set up there for Centeno, and that time she's able to get the point for Emerson. So now Gomez is still going to be sitting. Bella Plout comes back on. They set this one up for Olivia Kim, and Emerson is unable to return it. So now Sarah Wong to serve as Fort Lee leads this one 9-5. We're in the first set here as Fort Lee is hosting the Emerson Borough Cavaliers. Wong for Olivia Kim. Cannot be returned by Emerson. (10-5) advantage for the Bridgemen. And Wong will pick up an ace, make it 11-5. Basically just a swing and a miss there by a Cavalier on the return attempt. Wong came into this one with 2 aces on the year. She picks one up there. And after hitting one of the rafters or air conditioning units, make it 11-6. Number 2, Julia Soretis to serve for Emerson. Wong sends it over herself. Some confusion on the Emerson side. They get it over. Bella Plout keeps it alive. Setting up for not Olivia Kim, but rather that was Margaret O, number 4. Emerson will return, and Fort Lee will get the point. The Bridgemen maintaining their 2-1 advantage here. It's 12-6 now. And number 8, Sydney Kim, will be the next server for Fort Lee. Just barely gets over the net, and she'll get credit for an ace. Sydney Kim entering this one with 3 aces on the year. Fort Lee 4-3 on the season. Coming off a win yesterday in 2 sets at Holy Angels. Back at home today. And their lead decreases to 13-7. Serving now for Emerson will be number 22, Gabby Misucci. Kept alive by Plout. Margaret O gets it over, and Emerson cannot return. 14-7 Fort Lee. O will be replaced by Gomez, and Bella Plout will serve again. The senior Plout with 4 aces on the year. She leads Fort Lee with 109 digs. Kept alive there by Wong. Lorelei Gomez scores. 15-7 Fort Lee. Bella Plout to serve again, as it looks like Mawa has just arrived here at Fort Lee High School. Again, 3 matches today. Mawa will take on Emerson in the second one, and then I'll be back with you for the call of Mawa versus Fort Lee. So as Mawa arrives, Fort Lee leads Emerson 15-7 here in the first set. Both teams won yesterday, and Emerson is going to get credit for a point there. One of the referees talking to Fort Lee head coach John Ziemba. He does not look pleased with the call, but it's going to be 14-8 in favor of Fort Lee. Wong setting up Gomez. Centeno kept alive by Plout. She should get credit for a dig on that one. Olivia Kim sends it over. Emerson trying to respond. Bella Plout can't keep it alive. Great effort there by Fort Lee, but Emerson will come away with the point. And so all of a sudden, this one's gotten a little bit closer. 14-9 in favor of Fort Lee. Looks like number 35, Ariella Ceylon, is set to serve here for Emerson as they trail by 5. Ceylon coming into this one with an Emerson team high 26 kills. Also 10 aces, and she will in fact do the serving here. That one was blown dead. And we are going to have a timeout here with Fort Lee leading Emerson 14-9 here in the first set. Want to give a shout out to our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors, the Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Doru Electric, the Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, the Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, and UCS Strength and Speed. Thank you so much to our proud sponsors. Thank you so much for tuning in here on a Saturday morning. Not even 10 a.m. yet. Fort Lee leading Emerson 14-9 here in the first set. Wong sets up Watanabe for the kill. Watanabe with 16 kills coming into this one. She came into the game with a team-high 6 aces and a team-high 4 blocks. She picks up the kill there. Doing the serving now is number 11, Samantha Song, as Fort Lee leads 15-9. Nicely done there by Watanabe, and Fort Lee scores again. 16-9, and Song will continue to serve. Samantha Song with 4 aces on the year. Give her a 5th one. 17-9 Fort Lee. Song came into this one with a team-high 79 assists. She now has 5 aces on the year. The sophomore. This one will be returned. Centeno gets it over. Song setting up Gomez in no man's land. Gomez came into this one leading the team with 39 kills. And Fort Lee's leading killer causes Emerson to take a timeout. So a couple quick timeouts. It's now 18-9 in favor of the Bridgemen here in this first set. Actually, a 3rd day in a row in action for Kelly Wenggerter's Emerson Borough Cavaliers. They lost at Midland Park in 2 sets on Thursday, and then yesterday at home they defeated Patterson Charter. Couple road matches here today on a Saturday morning. Samantha Song. Gomez now, Song. Watanabe faked a spike. She sent it over. Emerson returned. Sarah Wong hit the net on that one. Emerson Borough returns, but they can't get it over. Gabby Masucci sent it right into the net, and Fort Lee leads by 10. Little bit of confusion on the Emerson side. They do get it over. Song for Watanabe. Now Song for Gomez. And the diagonal kill for Gomez. Just barely keeping it in play. 20-9 Fort Lee. Ceylon will sit for the Cavaliers. And Samantha Song will continue to do her thing. Fort Lee 5 points away from a first set victory. That makes it 20-10. As Emerson will try to get back in this one. Julia Soretis has stepped back on. Song setting up Gomez. Emerson Borough not fooled there. And the Bridgemen are unable to keep that one alive. Good effort there by Wong and Sydney Kim, but it is now 22-11. Kim cannot return that one. That'll go down as an ace for Demi Graham. The only Cavalier wearing red, as the rest of them are decked out in black. Similarly, Bella Plout wearing black, as the rest of her team wears white with orange accenting. So it's 21-12 now as Sydney Kim sits. Olivia Kim steps back on. And Watanabe to serve. Make it 22-12. The freshman, Anela Watanabe. She won't pick up an ace there. Olivia Kim, Song setting up Gomez. Emerson Borough will return this one. This one is kept alive by Fort Lee. Sarah Wong gets it over the net. Emerson Borough tried to return it, but Demi Graham sent it into the bleachers. 23-12 Fort Lee. Anela Watanabe is on fire serving, and she will continue here. And she'll pick up an ace. Match point coming for Fort Lee. And Watanabe will look to finish this one off. Sarah Wong, too hard. 24-13 now, and Emerson will once again get to serve. Brief pause here as Olivia Kim ties her shoe. And Emerson is going to have to go on a run here. Wong gets it over. Watanabe. That one's still alive, even though it did hit the ceiling. Wong keeps it alive. Gomez right into the net. Still a 24-14 advantage for Fort Lee. You do have to win by 2, but Emerson Borough is a ways away from that. That serve went out of bounds, and so that'll do it. Little anticlimactic, but a dominant first set win for Fort Lee, 25-14. So a first set victory for John Ziemba's Fort Lee Bridgman. 25-14. Pretty dominant first set victory there by the Bridgman. Second set coming up between Fort Lee and Emerson. The Cavaliers 4-3 on the season. They are in the NJIC Liberty Division. They're 4-2 in division. They're coming off a win yesterday, but they fall in the first set to Fort Lee. 3-0 in the Big North American Division. 4-3 overall, and looking for a winning streak after a victory at Holy Angels yesterday in 2 sets. I want to take this moment to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics sponsors, the Fort Lee PBA, Cafaso's Fairway Market, The Finest Construction, the Fort Lee Soccer Club, Rusin and Doru Electric, the Bridgman Basketball Camp, the Fort Lee VFW, Visions Federal Credit Union, It's Greek to Me, Connect One Bank, the Bergen Black Sox, Senator Builders, and UCS Strength and Speed. Thank you to all of our proud sponsors. Thank you to all of our proud watchers. Tommy Aquilina here with you on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. The Fort Lee volleyball team leading Emerson after 1 set. Second set about to be underway. Fort Lee took the first one in dominant fashion, 25-14. Starting this one off after we didn't call her name in the first set is the senior number 12, Sonia Yurchenko. So Emerson has to win these next 2 sets in order to come away with a victory here. The Cavaliers will serve to start things off. Plout keeps that one alive. Yurchenko sent it diagonally, and it landed in play. A kill for Yurchenko. She will now come off in favor of Lorelai Gomez, Fort Lee's leading killer, coming into this one. So Gomez is on. Plout to serve. 1-0 Fort Lee. Some confusion there, but Emerson Burrow is able to return this one, and they'll come away with the point. So now it will be Ariella Ceylon doing the serving for Emerson. Watanabe went for the spike. She didn't get it. 2-1 Emerson. Wong setting up her teammate Song. They get it over. Can Emerson return? They can. Plout from deep. Fort Lee has to get it over. Wong does. She can't return that one. So a 3-1 lead here for Emerson. Ceylon to serve again. Kept alive by Song. Spike attempt is sent over by Gomez. Out of play. 4-1 Emerson. A lot less crisp action here for John Ziemba's squad, but it is early here in the second set. Song should get credit for a kill on that one. Grazed the net. The Cavaliers were unable to do anything with it. And now Song to serve with Fort Lee trailing 4-2. Graham just gets it over. Song setting up Gomez. And give Gomez a kill. Song will get an assist. Coming into this one, Gomez had the most kills on the team. Song had the most assists. You can see why right there. So Fort Lee will look to tie up this second set at 4. And they will. The senior, Samantha Song. And it's 5-4 Fort Lee. Somehow, Demi Graham gets that over. Watanabe going for the kill, and she'll pick it up. (6-4) Fort Lee here in the second set. And as Graham steps off for the Cavaliers, Fort Lee is going to look to put some distance between themselves and Emerson. We're ready to go now. Lorelai Gomez This one is returned. They set it up for Watanabe. Emerson momentarily kept that one alive. They now trail 7-4. Another substitution for Kelly Wengerter as Ceylon steps off. Song is still serving for Fort Lee. I believe a Cavalier went too far over her net. So Fort Lee gets credit for the point there, make it 8-4. Wong. Song. Gomez. But she sent it into the net. So it's 8-5, still in favor of Fort Lee. Emerson will finally get the chance to serve again. And it'll be Demi Graham doing the honors. Bad serve there. Graham came into this one leading her team in digs. There, she gives it right back to Fort Lee. It's 9-5, and the dangerous Anela Watanabe to serve again for Fort Lee. Plout. Gomez gets it over. Point Fort Lee. (10-5) Bridgman. Watanabe to serve again. Graham gets it over. Wong with the dig. They set it up for Olivia Kim. And Centeno sends it right into the net. Gomez gets it over. Now the Cavaliers set up. Plout keeps it alive with one arm. Song sends it over. Will settle back down again. Centeno kept alive by Watanabe. Gomez with the kill. 12-5 Fort Lee. Timeout Emerson. So a dominating first set taken by Fort Lee. Again, that was 25-14. Now leading the second set 12-5. Both of these teams usually win or lose, only go 2 sets. 3 straight matches for Emerson that have only gone 2 sets. They're 2-1 in those. For Fort Lee, they have not had a set go, or they have not gone to 3 sets in a match so far this year. After going 16-13 last year and getting to the quarterfinal of the NJSIAA tournament, Fort Lee, 4-3 on the season. Watanabe looking to continue her hot streak here. Wong, it's going to be Gomez. Picking up another kill. 2 Cavaliers were there, it didn't matter. And Watanabe will come away with an ace. Fort Lee making Emerson look really unmoored right now. Another ace for Watanabe. And it's a 10-point advantage for the Bridgman. Centeno. Watanabe keeps it alive. They set up for Wong. Little too much on that one for Wong, so it's 15-6, and Emerson will get the chance to serve again. Olivia Kim. Centeno. Watanabe with the dig. They set up for Gomez. And coming away with the kill there will be Gabby Misucci. Plout and a teammate went after that one. Still a 15-7 advantage for Fort Lee. Samantha Song for Gomez. And Emerson is going on a little bit of a run here. They're going to have to. Wong for Gomez. Song for Olivia Kim. Just barely gets it over, but that'll be enough. 16-8 is the Fort Lee advantage. Plout and Gomez will come off. Yurchenko steps back on, as does number 8, Sydney Kim, and the junior Kim will do the serving now. She will give a point to Emerson. And then she'll quickly go back to the bench. Plout comes back on. Emerson to serve here. Specifically, it's Centeno. Plout unable to keep that one alive. Centeno will get credit for an ace. And now John Ziemba will take a timeout. Doesn't like the way his team looks, but they do still lead this second set by 6. And of course, they already have the 1-set advantage. Timeout over. Centeno still serving for Emerson. Gabby Misucci has stepped back on. Olivia Kim will pick up a kill. So whatever John Ziemba said in the timeout appeared to work there. 17-10 Fort Lee. Now it is Sarah Wong's turn to serve. The senior. Demi Graham gets it over. Now Wong setting up Olivia Kim. Watanabe. Wong. Song. Demi Graham with the dig to keep this one alive. Now Yurchenko keeps it alive for Fort Lee. Olivia Kim again. Point Emerson. So it's now 17-11 as number 2, Julia Soretis, will do the serving for Emerson. Wong sends it over herself, and Fort Lee picks up a point. Fort Lee can afford to go point for point with Emerson from this point forward here in the second set. Luna Shigahara to do the serving as Olivia Kim heads to the bench. Centeno. Dejected after Fort Lee picks up the point. 19-11 Bridgman. Shigahara coming into this one had 3 aces on the year. Plout, Wong, Yurchenko for the kill. (20-11) Fort Lee. Substitution made by Emerson. Centeno comes off. Number 3, Juliet Janevsky comes on. Right to Janevsky. Emerson trying to get it over. They do. Now Wong will set up Watanabe. Emerson did not look great there. They wind up sending it into the net. Shigahara will continue to serve. It is once again a 10-point advantage for Fort Lee. John Ziemba will make a sub. Watanabe will come off in favor of, I believe that's Anastasia Yushko. (22-11) now in favor of Fort Lee. And immediately after coming into the game, Yushko will pick up the kill. (23-11), Fort Lee. Looking for the quick victory in 2 sets. A whistle blew that one dead, an infraction on Fort Lee, so Emerson wins the right to serve again, but they still trail 23-12. Yurchenko will pick up the kill. Soretis had a chance at it, but the match point is coming up now for Fort Lee. Plout to serve. And that'll do it. The Bridgmen come away with a couple dominant sets. 25-14 in the first one, 25-12 in the second one, and John Ziemba's Bridgmen have defeated the Emerson Borough Cavaliers here on a Saturday morning. So Fort Lee improves to 5-3 on the season. They do now have their winning streak, but they're going to be in action again in just a little while. This is a 3-match morning here at Fort Lee High School. So Fort Lee beats Emerson in 2 sets. Now the Cavaliers will take on Mahwah, and then I will return for the call of Fort Lee against Mahwah. Do stay tuned for each of these next 2 matches. Again, first it's going to be Emerson and Mahwah, and then it will be Mahwah at Fort Lee.